Hello everyone. I wanted to show you my one of my journals that I have been using. So I made this booklet for myself earlier. I think I made it last year, but I started using it in January. So I call it my creativity journal, and I'll tell you a little bit about it because I have made a November edition, which you can download from my Etsy shop. So I'll do a walkthrough of this one as well, but I wanted to share about how I created the journal, why I created it, how I use it. And so this kind of creative journaling with like different images and colors is kind of new to me. For the most part, since I've been journaling for the last um, 30, 25 years, I have been using any notebook that I can get my hands on, but mostly composition books. And the majority of my journaling, I'm gonna move this out of the way, was always like just a lot of writing, just writing about my feelings, my goals, my dreams, about what happened during the day, things I needed to process. So this is what my journaling looked like before this year, where I wanted to try more creative journaling, kind of like art journaling. I wasn't sure what to try, or I didn't want to do like art journaling like I see people doing it because I didn't think I was such a great artist. So I like to make workbooks, and I really like using the app Canva. So I went on Canva and I designed a printable for myself. And over the years, I've had different ideas. So I've included new pages on the journal. And also I've had mishaps with like printing and my printer not printing in color. So I've been dealing with a lot of technical issues. This first one that I printed actually ended up printing backwards for some reason. I think I was just trying to figure out how to print it. So I'll do like a quick recap of how it started, where it's now, and some of the benefits that I gain from using a journal like this. So where we started was I wanted a creativity journal. So I made myself a handout that was like 8 pages long, and it included a title page. It included a place for you to write down different crystal allies that you were working with, plant allies, other creative allies that maybe you wanted to connect with, and also a space here for your own personal library of symbols. Things were looking kind of blurry here on my side. Hopefully you can see. I also, this one actually has elements from a different journaling kit that I downloaded from the Right Brain Planner. I also really recommend her journaling kit. It has a lot of really great prompts. This one's also by the Right Brain Planner, as well as this page. So it just gave, having like a journal like this gave me the option of having a lot of white space to collage and doodle and write quotes and draw. So that's one of the reasons why I created it. I know I could have done that in a notebook, like bullet journaling, and I did try bullet journaling, but I just never got into the habit of doing it. So this is one of the pages from my creativity journal. There was a spot for new ideas and old observations. This is a page from another workbook that I bought from a friend on Instagram. Her workbook is called The Reauthored Life, and it's also a monthly printable. So my creativity journal has this space to write down daily creative actions, which can be it's pretty broad. You know, what you decide is a creative action is up to you. Sometimes I would write rest as a creative action. there's writing. So here it's just like a tracker for seeing if you have been including creativity into your daily life. There's also a spot for to create a creative sacred space with a reading. There was a page for end of the month reflections. I think this was just a blank page, and this was the so because it's printed backwards, this was supposed to be the first page where you write down the month, the year, the new moon, date and sign, and then there's a spot for you to write down your creative intentions and some important astrological transits. So this is how it started. I used to have like a intro page at the beginning where I gave you some information about how you could use it. But what I really liked was just the freedom of being able to doodle on it, paste stickers, find different symbols that came to me through junk mail or letters that friends sent me, and then follow that symbol. So for example, in this January edition, I had this paper that my kids got in some kind of kids meal from Wendy's, I think, and it had this paper that had a map. And so instead of throwing out the paper, I kept it and I pasted it in here. So then I started seeing like a lot of images of roads, and here in the back there's like more roads. I got some magazines in the mail with road imagery. So then roads became like a symbol for me that I started to connect with and explore and use throughout the month. And you can see how I made this big spread about roads. So that's one way that I have been using the journal. So as I was saying, this booklet became a really great place for me to just have like an outlet for creative expression. And from the beginning, I started connecting like this creative expression with my spiritual practice, which is where the practice of setting intentions, having different spiritual allies, keeping track of the moon, keeping track of the astrological signs. That's why it was important for me to do that. And I began by offering this one as a free download on my website. And so then I continued using it. I added new pages. At the beginning of the year, I was still using the Right Brain Planners booklet. But towards the end of the year, I stopped printing those. And then since my own booklet was getting pretty large, then I didn't feel like I needed to add someone else's pages. So instead of flipping through every single month, I will give you, I'll do a flip through of the November issue, which is available to purchase in my Etsy shop, and it's $8.88 for 30 pages. But yeah, so this is where I use this one daily. I do different things. Sometimes I do one of the prompts, one of the page prompts. Sometimes I paste some stickers. Sometimes I do some doodling. I'll write quotes that I find. I'll make some artwork. So it is kind of like a bullet journal, except it has prompts for you to use. And it's interesting because sometimes some months it ends up being pretty skinny or thin, and then other months it ends up being a little chunkier depending on what I end up putting in. I started doing this self-portrait page, and it was just a way for me to take pictures of myself. I rarely take pictures of me. I'm always the one taking pictures of my kids and my family. I actually don't even like taking pictures of myself. But then I thought, well, when I'm older and when I die, my girls are not going to have any pictures of me. So I have been trying to be more intentional with taking pictures of myself. But I am sad to report that for the last few months, I have not been taking pictures. And so that page has been left blank. So I'm just kind of flipping through and talking I here is an inner child spread that I did for my self-portrait, and this is me when I was a child. So I'm just looking at them now. I really love how colorful they are, the different pages, different papers, different memories that you can find here. So I am planning to continue to use this journal for the coming year. And most of the year they have been this like teal or blue and pink color, but for the next month, for November, and then maybe for next year, I'm going to be making them different colors. And I still haven't decided if I want to have like a seasonal update. So instead of having monthly ones like this one, which I'm not going to show yet, but I'm talking about the future. Instead of having monthly ones, I would do maybe like a seasonal one, and then people can purchase it and download it and use it for the quarter or the season, and then use the next one. Yeah, so I noticed that during the summer months, I was feeling more like colorful, and so more things were making their way into the journal. And lately, like even October just feels kind of muted, like more writing, less doodling. I've been drawing these little ghosts which make me laugh. So it's just a good way for me to like flip back through the journals and see how I was doing. So this one's not finished yet. I still have what, 6 days, 7 days left in October. So now I guess it's time to share a more detailed flip through of the November one, so you can see if it's something that interests you. I like printing them as a booklet. The page sizes are 8.5 by 11, but I just like the feeling of the booklet. So I have been thinking of putting like rubber bands in to keep it together. And I've also been wondering what I'm gonna do, like how I'm gonna store them. Part of me would like to buy like a cover and then put rubber bands. I would need 12 rubber bands to hold them all. So I'm still working through some of those technical pieces. And I didn't show you my, this is a little music box that I got for my birthday from my sister-in-law. And this one is also another gift that I got from my sister-in-law. She knows I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. So let me move them a little bit off to the side here so I can do a flip through of the journal. I don't know if I can zoom once I'm recording. Anyway, this is the cover page. Then you have space to write a letter for yourself. Maybe I'll bring it up. There's a space for a letter for yourself in the beginning and the end of the month. You can write down the month, year, when the new moon, full moon happen, and in their signs, and then set your creative intentions. Then there's a space here for important astrological transits. Here's that page about communing with the muse, so you can write notes about what crystals you're working with, plant allies, and other creative allies. I have the space for you to create your personal library of symbols. So that's where you would write different symbols that are coming up for you right now. The daily creative action page. The moon cycles phenology wheel. You could do a phenology wheel, but I've been doing kind of like a mood board for the moon, and then extra journaling space. There's 4 weekly check-ins for each week of the month. So they have these 3 questions. How will you bring play into your life this week? What is one thing you want to learn more about this week? And how will you prioritize self-care and creativity this week? Then you can do your, I'll usually write in my intentions for the week here, and then at the end of the week I'll come back and journal about how the week went, if I was able to do what I set out to do, and if not, how that's okay still. So there's 4 of those. I have this page here called Open the Door to Curiosity for you to make a list of things you want to learn about this year and then check back and maybe give some updates as well as some additional journaling space. Curiosity and learning are really important to me, so that's why they're included here. This is the self-portrait space. This is the creativity is a sacred practice. My creativity is sacred, actually. So this is a spread where you can use tarot or oracle cards to get a message from the muse. There's this wheel where you can explore different elements. There's a lot of things that have like a circle cycle to them. I've done explorations of like the mother, maiden, crone, inner child, the 4 seasons, the 4 elements in the tarot. So that's a place where you can just be creative. There's create a sacred ritual and a sacred space for yourself with some suggestions of how you can do that. Here's a place for you to make a list for when you feel stuck, so you can add different things that you could do to cheer yourself up. Recording my dreams and just paying attention to my dreams is also a really important part of my practice. So I have this 2 pages for dream symbology, symbols, dream recording. I call it the dream repository. I love writing down new ideas, so I made a whole page for that. Writing down your ideas is a really good practice. I highly recommend it. I think last month I started keeping track of psychic observations. So this is where you would write different things that have to do with like psychic development. I have this page for abundance space. This page is for keeping track of things that you're reading, watching, listening, or experiencing. This page is for end of the month reflections. I have a page for a creative interpretation of the month. And then the last letter for yourself. And just because of how I printed it out as a booklet, there's these 3 additional pages, which are not actually blank in the file, but you would get these 3 pages if you print it out as a booklet. And I don't mind. I end up journaling a lot or drawing or pasting some things in there. So that is the creativity journal that I made and I have been working with for the last year. If you have questions or comments, please put them in the comment section. You don't need to purchase my download to get started with a creativity journal. Hopefully some of the prompts I mentioned inspire you to get your own started on any notebook or piece of paper you have available. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to my videos. I hope that you just feel inspired to start developing a creativity practice, and we will see you on the next one.